So I'm currently 10 days out from my ultra marathon. It's next Friday, May 17th. So I thought in today's video, I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about nutrition and correctly fueling for an ultra event. But I also wanted to just talk about basic nutrition in general for running, what you should be consuming on your run, because this is definitely an area where a lot of people make mistakes, especially if you're new to running or if you're just getting into running. One of the biggest mistakes people make is around their nutrition. Especially sort of during run as well. And it's definitely a big area where I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. So I thought I'd share a few lessons on that as well. Nutrition can be one of the biggest causes for discomfort on a run as well. So a lot of people get a lot of, stomach discomfort or cramping or a number of different things. And a lot of this is caused by inadequate nutrition or incorrectly fueling, and then inadequate hydration as well. So I want to discuss a couple of those things and what you should be aiming for in today's video.
So I was 10 days out, but I actually stuffed up the video. So now I've actually completed my event. I managed to run for 24 hours straight and do a little over 160 kilometers. And I had no stomach discomfort whatsoever. I absolutely nailed my nutrition for the event. And that is one of the key reasons that I was able to perform so well. You see, the reason that nutrition is so important when we're doing longer runs, because whenever we do any form of endurance type exercise, our body has to utilize energy, quite a lot of energy. But you see, we only have so much stored energy, which is easily accessible. And the most accessible stored energy we have is glycogen, which is stored in our liver and in our muscles. But here's the thing, most people only have enough glycogen stored up to last them for up to 2 hours. After this point, your glycogen stores begin to deplete, and if you don't start replenishing them, then you're going to start running, no pun intended, into a few issues. So this means that we need to continually fuel ourselves during our run. Now, when it comes to adequately fueling yourself during a long run, there are 5 common mistakes that I see people make, and I want to discuss each of those in today's video. Mistake number 1 is not consuming enough calories and enough carbohydrate. When doing any form of endurance exercise, which is 90 minutes or longer, then it's a good idea to consume some carbs and calories during that session. Ideally, we want to aim for at least 200 plus calories per hour and around 60 to 90 grams of carbohydrate. And we can actually train ourselves to absorb anywhere from 250 to 400 calories per hour, sometimes even more. And if you're new to endurance running, this might actually sound like quite a lot, but you don't have to start this high. You can start low and slowly build up your tolerance over time. And you can get this energy in many different forms. You can consume whole foods like bananas, sandwiches, and bars, or more commonly, you can consume supplements like carbohydrate drinks or energy gels and energy chews. Ideally, the majority of your energy is going to be coming from carbohydrate sources, and you want to avoid sources which are high in proteins, high in fats, and high in fiber, as these can cause some digestive issues. Gels are definitely the most popular for their convenience. They won't counteract how many calories you're actually burning per hour, but they will ensure that there is enough energy available to continue performing. That leads me to mistake number 2, which is not consuming enough energy early enough. Remember, as soon as the session starts, you start depleting your energy stores. You want to start replenishing that energy as soon as possible, especially if you plan on going for a while. I know a lot of people who will wait until they're feeling hungry or feeling thirsty before they actually start replenishing themselves. But often if you leave it this long, then chances are it's already too late. So have a plan in place for when you actually start to consume your energy, and then try your best to stick to it. The third mistake is not consuming enough water. It's a good idea to try and aim to consume anywhere between 400 to 800 mils per hour. Again, this can seem like quite a lot, but with proper training, you'll actually get used to it. And you'll notice the massive difference that it makes. And consuming enough water is also going to help with the digestion of those extra calories and carbs that you're consuming. So they sort of work hand in hand. You might be thinking 400 to 800 mils is quite a big range. And there's a couple of reasons for that. That'll obviously depend on the type of event you're doing and the conditions, whether it's really hot or a bit of a colder day. It also depends on the type of person you are. If you're someone who excessively sweats versus someone who sweats very little, then you're probably going to need a different amount. Again, as always, you usually start small and then sort of build up your tolerance over time. This leads us into mistake number 4, which is not replenishing electrolyte. While consuming water is important, we can't just rely on that alone, because when we sweat, we are sweating out precious electrolytes which need to be replaced. Again, you should aim to consume anywhere from 400 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium per hour. Your gels and your sports drinks will consume some form of electrolytes as well, but you may require a specific electrolyte source just to ensure you're getting enough. You can take salt tablets, hydration tablets, or even hydration drinks as well. When we're not replacing our electrolytes, that can result in a lot of stomach discomfort, fatigue, and even cramping. And that ties us into the final mistake, number 5, which is not practicing often enough. Mistakes 1 through to 4 can actually all seem quite difficult to do. And people will often say when they do try to fuel like this, it gives them a bit of an upset stomach, or they just can't do it. And that's because you have to practice it. You're not going to get it perfect right away. And it doesn't mean you have to do it every single time you go for a longer run, it also means you can practice it on your shorter runs as well. And you don't have to start with those recommended ranges. Like I said earlier, you can start off small and slowly build up your tolerance over time. For example, I used to consume no water or no calories when I did my longer run. And then this past week during my event, I was able to consume up to 400 calories per hour consistently for 24 hours straight, and anywhere between 800 to 1,000 mils of water with no discomfort whatsoever. I definitely didn't start off doing that. I started off with a much slower tolerance, and then through my training block, I got used to how much I could take on at a certain time. Inevitably, this just ensured that I could perform better for longer without running into any issues. So if you are looking to improve your running nutrition, take this advice on board and let me know how you go.